is up, Grunge Bible music community? This is Chris and Ethan on episode 47 of the Grunge Bible podcast, recording on February 1st, which means it's our birthday, Chris.
This is our birthday. This is our 6th birthday. Grunge Bible is officially 6 years old today. We have learned to walk. We've learned to run. We're trying to learn to share with others. And we're in first grade now. This is pretty big. I'm happy about this. How do you feel about this 6th anniversary?
6 years old. This is like strong I looked it up, and this is where stronger friendships, tricky emotions, and improved thinking and physical skills. So when you're referring to basic human development, so I don't know what that means for for Grunge Bible and the podcast, but
gloves are off.
We got tricky emotions coming our way, Chris.
Yeah, things are about to get a lot more complicated.
Even though a lot, all is different.
Yeah,
but not really.
All is different now.
But not really. It doesn't feel kind of like we've been kind of plugging away for a long. It feels like it's been a part of our lives forever, right?
Yeah, we've had our heads down for a long time. I struggle to understand.
Do you remember a time when you didn't have it?
When I didn't have this internal clock, like, oh shit, it's been 4 hours since I've posted something. I should probably go dig up a performance of Black Hole Sun or something like that to get. Honestly, it's hard for me to remember because as long as I've used social media and used Instagram, I've had Grunge Bible. So we're still rolling here, but it's pretty wild. What about you? Do you remember the before times?
It seems, as it gets farther away, it seems like it's been a part of us for our entire life. You know what I mean? Like the longer it is, the more you feel attached, or the less you remember how it was without it. So, not really, I guess. It's always
just part of your life. It's like getting up and brushing your teeth in the morning, just get used
into
to
the flood again. We have, I was going to say, like you said, digging up another Black Hole Sun. I was going to ask the dumb question of what song do you think we posted the most, but it's going to be Wood.
It's got to be Wood by this point.
It is one of those things where I would love to have the numbers on.
I tried to tabulate them once, but that would take me a month of time, and I would probably rage quit the account. That
would take a very... You'd need to...
Well, we've got almost 7,000 posts right now, so that's too much.
It's way too much.
Way too much.
So back when... back in 2016, you were 19 years old, Chris.
I was 19.
And I was 21.
A long time ago, man. I was a sophomore in college. I was in Ames, Iowa, attending Iowa State University. I went there as a student, and I competed on their track and field team for my last 3 years of college. And you were 21, and you had just transferred into the University of Kentucky over in Lexington, Kentucky. And it was really strange. This started at a point where we were both starting new chapters of our lives, and it's funny how many physically. Chapters have started and stopped and begun and ended since then. It's like this has been riding shotgun with us for a little while.
It is interesting that we kind of developed, obviously we were together for a year, but then we developed and began this endeavor while I guess probably 700 miles away or something. You know what I mean? Like not in the same physical location at all. And I think that's really interesting to start something like that,
Yeah, it's really weird, and I think people a lot of times would assume that we would have lived together while we did this, and we haven't lived together since 2015. We went to the same college for a year, as we've spoken about before. It's been a long time since that. It's been It's funny. Memories will pop up on my Snapchat or Instagram or whatever, and the times that we spent together at the University of Pittsburgh. It's 7 years ago now. That's significant chunk of time.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds, no, we're not that old and stuff, but I have friends who, they just got their doctorate in physical therapy because it's been 4 years since they graduated college, the undergrad, which is really kind of interesting. Or people are graduating their second.
Lots of people have kids too.
Yep.
Married, maybe divorced. They have children. They have houses, mortgages, and we have an Instagram page, Ethan. It's our child. It's our child and our mortgage.
That's amazing. That's This is exactly what this is the only child we have.
Yeah.
So today I think that we're going to keep it pretty light, and we're going to just kind of reminisce a little bit, talk about a few different things. I'm sure we're going to have our fair share of music talk, but we actually have a lot of people. We have a lot of. I feel like we have a lot to talk about. So like not necessarily like a huge a huge entree for the meal for the podcast, but we have people to.
We're just getting apps for the table. We're sharing them, and tonight's
just shareables. Tonight's
absolutely. We've got the wings. We got the mozzarella sticks. The spinach dip. We've got it all, man.
Yeah. What is your favorite appetizer, Chris? If you go to a table, it's like that Hinge question. If you go to the table, what are you ordering for the table? What are you ordering for everybody?
Oh man, see the problem is there's so many places now that have ridiculous perceptions of what appetizers are. But it's got to be something shareable. I mean, if a place has really good guac or something, I feel like chips and guac you can't miss with, or some sort of nacho type thing. Especially if you can customize it with some meat on there. I feel like those are always good crowd pleasers. But I am not a picky eater, and I know you're not. So I'm not very preferential. I do like fried calamari a lot of times. If I go to an Italian restaurant, I'll get that. But what about you? What are you ordering for the table?
Yeah.
If I saw you on Hinge, what would it say?
I would. Well, let's see. That's different. My actual response than my Hinge response.
You got to lie on there. Start a relationship with a lie. Be a man.
Be a man. I saw a great. It was a 2 truths and a lie on Hinge, and it said, "Friends." It said. 2 truths. Yeah, Friends is a bad TV show. Friends is a good TV show. Friends is a bad TV show. 2 truths and a lie. Friends is just a bad TV show.
Yeah, it's not we don't endorse Friends around these parts.
Yeah, we're Seinfeld. We're Seinfeld till we die.
Yeah, we're Team Seinfeld.
But as far as apps, I think that fried pickles. When you said fried, if I'm going food, fried pickles are really.
Fried pickles are gas. Those are really good.
Yeah, nachos are also always really good. That's what we had in New York. They're always like a little bit more like an entree. Because I hate buying I hate getting an appetizer for like 5 people and it comes in like increments of 4.
Yeah, like, or there's like 3. Yeah, what are you doing here? There's no point.
Like tacos. So you get tacos and they're not going to give you.
You're
8
not going to chop a taco in half. I mean, that would be delusional if you did something like that.
But if I have to be honest, I'd rather just get a pitcher for the table.
I
2
agree.
pitchers of beer.
Just get started. I wholeheartedly agree. Is beer an appetizer?
100%.
Can we decide? Okay, beer is an appetizer.
It's something you have before the meal. It fills you up and
it
makes
you rolling, and it enhances the remaining portion of your meal. That's great. I'm glad we could come to that conclusion. So as you said, the first appetizer, Ethan, we're wearing the same article of clothing right now. Let's talk a little bit about that
for all the YouTubers, people that watch on YouTube. You can see. I'm actually going to turn around because.
Yeah, turn around. Let's get that full look here. So our good friend of Grunge Bible, Nick Crook, has this company called Boardies, and they specialize in swimwear, other sorts of nautical clothing, and relevant apparel for that type of scene. And we've befriended Nick for a long time, and he's been kind enough to hook us up with what I believe is their first foray into the hoodie game. So we have these wonderful black hooded sweatshirts brought to you by Boardies that is outfitting episode 47 of the Grunge Bible podcast. Ethan, what are your thoughts on this sweatshirt?
My initial reaction, so Nick was a great guy. He DHL'd these, and in the words of Chris Salona, those guys haul ass. And
you got something coming with DHL. Don't blink.
Don't blink.
It'll be there.
They're going to throw it at your door. So this thing showed, Nick said he sent it to us, and it showed up like the day after. I opened it up, beautiful, nice little card, with the beach and the water, and then a bunch of stickers, and then this hoodie. I threw the hoodie on. It has that punk sweatshirt feel where it's kind of tight. This. That nice fitting sweatshirt, and then like you said it best yourself. You see, I feel massive in this hoodie.
Yeah,
I feel jacked up.
Ready to go here. Absolutely.
Dude, so I've been wearing it pretty steadily the last couple of days. I'm very happy that he hooked us up.
Yeah,
I really am.
I'm very grateful for that as well. So to Nick and the entire Boardies crew, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to wearing this. It's still cold as shit here in New England, so I'm definitely going to get the worth out of this sweatshirt here.
Maybe we can get you. And I don't know how you feel about. I mean, I know you like to lift in hoodies, but sometimes I'm kind of weird about nicer stuff. But it would be kind of cool to see you do a big squat.
Oh man, yeah, that might be a good idea. I'm the same way. I don't like to lift in anything that's nice unless it's a super special occasion. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the deal is. That would be a nice nice way to share this sweatshirt. Additionally, Ethan, we get to ring the bell again this week.
Do we?
We get to ring the bell again this week.
I thought they were slacking. I didn't.
No. We are not slacking.
I was a little worried, but who do we got?
So we have we have two new developments in Patreon land, and we do have a new individual joining us at the $2 tier. And this individual is no stranger to the Grunge Bible podcast. In fact, during our year in review episode that came out on New Year's Eve, I believe, we read this person's review of our podcast. If you can recall, Grunge Goddess Soapworks rated us as their second favorite podcast of 2021, behind Lily Cornell Silver's Mind Wide Open podcast and ahead of Rick Beato. So the individual behind that account and behind that review has decided to join up on Patreon at the $2 level. So to Grunge Goddess Soapworks, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, like we said at the time, we're working on overtaking Lily and becoming your favorite podcast here in 2022. And I guess we're off to a good start if you've decided to join the Patreon.
Yeah, I hope that I hope we can take that number one spot. It's kind of nice to have some competition, but I think that gaining her allegiance on the Patreon was a big step for us. I think that's a win.
Absolutely. So we have they're joining at the $2 level, and we had an upgrade from the $5 to the $10 level.
Yeah, and Chris, I'm gonna stop you right there and say that this is more important than someone just joining at the $10.
Yeah, this is great.
This follower, this patron, was with us and then decided to go another level and to step it up. And I think that commitment and that realization that he had, that is amazing. I was super impressed to see this and super jacked up. This is a good one. A good one.
This brings a twinkle to my eye. So, and they have gone ahead and changed their name on Patreon. As we know, we do enjoy good names, and this individual has rebranded themselves on Patreon as the Blue Owl. So from the $5 to the $10 level, the Blue Owl, they've been with us for a while on the Grunge Bible Instagram page, and they've been with us on Patreon for a few months, and they did say that they decided to help out a little bit more and support a little bit more. So we're very grateful for the mighty Blue Owl. Little interjection here. My college town, Ames, Iowa, where Iowa State was, had a bar called Blue Owl Bar. It was kind of the bar where all of the scene kids went. It wasn't on the beaten path, so to speak. It was down the road from all the popular bars. I only ended up there one time, and I'm honestly not able to review it because my memory is a little foggy from that junction in that evening. But I'm sure it's a great establishment, and I'd love to know the story behind the name here on Patreon. But to the Blue Owl, thank you very much. And
maybe they're patrons of the bar as well.
Maybe.
Wouldn't that be something from Iowa?
That would be amazing. That would make my day. Then I'd have to return, and we could share a pitcher as an appetizer, since beer is appetizer.
Oh yeah, apparently. Absolutely.
So the Blue Owl joins a growing list, an ever burgeoning list of top level patrons, and this week that list consists of Sunny Mashburn, Sue, Shannon Gorgon, Laura Nyreen, Marianne, our number one fan from Australia, Alexis Shannon, Fuck Soup, Jamie Lynn, Kayla Jean, Millie, Bubby, Rachel Corning, Wayne Staley, Doug Endy, Release, Victor Schaefer, Jade Mercado, and What the Fuck is Up, Daddies?
Oh, that was
pretty good. I saved it for the end for that reason, and I'm pretty happy about that decision.
The Grand Slam, dude.
The Grand Slam. Nothing will ever compare. So there we go.
Awesome.
That's pretty great. So as we said, 6th birthday is today, and we're releasing this a few days after on Friday, February 4th. But this is our birthday week. We get to do whatever we want here, because that's what you can do on a birthday week.
That's right. What do you like to do on your actually our birthday? We actually have the same
birthday. September 28th.
Damn, dude.
That's our day, man.
So what do you usually do on birthdays? What's a typical,
Oh
like, what should we
gosh.
be doing? What's our birthday cake? You know, like,
Right.
what do we do?
I'm
What
well, we've
analogies
had
are we gonna like? What's a cake? I don't know.
yeah, exactly. So we've had bad luck with what day our birthday falls on the last few years
I feel like it's
personally. I
been
think this
Tuesday
past year
for
was like
like
a
4 years.
Tuesday. Like what the fuck are you gonna do with the Tuesday when you gotta work the next day? I'm not a huge birthday guy for myself personally. I do enjoy celebrating the birthdays of those who are important to me, and Grunge Bible I guess would fall under that category. So I'm pretty stoked about this. We hit him with the repost of our first ever post, and that was
We
that
like
was always
that.
a
That's
that
a
was
good
always a
one.
monumental moment. It's really great looking back to the page that we really started with, something that was particularly impactful and something that was good. We weren't just, oh hey, this is the Grunge Bible. So we started with a quote from Eddie Vedder, which I would like to read here because it's
Please.
probably one of the more informative quotes that I've ever heard about music. And Eddie Vedder said one time, quote, "I think music is the greatest art form that exists, and I think people listen to music for different reasons, and it serves different purposes. Some of it is background music, and some of it is things that might affect a person's day, if not their life, or change an attitude. The best songs are the ones that make you feel something." And that sentiment really, I think, is what is behind the page, and it's behind the last 6 years of our lives as it relates to this page. And Ethan, it's as we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, it's been a while. What is this page? What does this project mean to you? Like, what's its level of importance to you? And yeah, how do you kind of
Yeah.
put it
Hearing
into its place in your life?
Looking back at the that first quote and hearing it read, and thinking about I've always enjoyed kind of dissecting and breaking down lyrics and albums in certain
Yeah.
ways, and this page where it started was it became a place to share some in some form, and what it did, it made us listen to the lyrics of these men and women in much different ways, and I think that what it's done for me is it is allowed to open up I guess an emotional side that comes with music that in a deeper level. I think that if I got deep before in my own endeavors, once this began, we went head in, or however you want to say it. We went full in on like
Deep
I don't
end
know,
of the pool.
discographies, yeah, and you kind of like uncut releases and all this stuff. I don't know, you just all of the good
Become
stuff, and kind
students
of
of
like
it almost.
yeah. And I think that there was just a lot of critical thinking. So this page, I think, has a lot of growth attached to it for us as individuals. I think that, like you said, we can listen to songs, and it may take a few times, but then all of a sudden it clicks with you, and you have a really good, a really good moment,
Right.
and realization, and then you get to talk about it, whether it just be me and you, or we post it on the page because it's late and the other person's asleep. So then you post it there, and then somebody is able to respond with similar sentiments. I think that is a lot of how I picture and how I view Grunge Bible over the years. It's been a safe place to kind of like share and grow within music that I don't think that people allow themselves to do. Like, I don't think a lot of my friends, there's times where I want to talk about stuff, and they just don't really view music like that,
Right.
and have that ability. And so I think that we can credit a lot of the way we think about music and songs to the page.
Definitely. Yeah, I would agree with that. And I also echo a lot of those thoughts. I think for me, it's been a really cool way for me to cultivate, to feed, and to grow the artistic appreciation that I have in my brain. And also, I think a lot of my critical thinking or philosophical thinking or worldview has been informed by the music that I've listened to, the music I've discovered, the music I've talked about and posted about over the last 6 years. I've always been a fan of music, but this page and this project the last 6 years have really kind of put that into a little bit bigger of a bloom in that sense. And it's just given me a lot of appreciation for people's capacity to be vulnerable, particularly with songwriting and sharing that with the world. I mean, once you put that out on the world, it's not up to you what people do with it or how people relate to it. And just speaking to the interactions that we've had with literally at this point millions of people, tens of millions of people probably, it's really fascinating to see the response that you get when you post a song that is somebody's favorite or that they've had an important moment to. And it's kind of made me realize that everything that is out there is somebody who's out there. It's somebody's thing. It's somebody's something, if that makes sense, where, for me, it's just a post to fill up the space on the timeline, but for them, it's the song that helped them make sense of this thing that was going on in their life, or reminds them of the greatest time in their life, or reminds them of a person or something. And it's really just, I think the whole page has given me a much deeper appreciation for art and for people's ability and need to express themselves, and also people's need to be a part of a community that revolves around something they're passionate about.
Yeah, and I think hearing your kind of say like it helped you grow like philosophically, I think that's because, it's like it's a history of music. It's the last 40 years of music we're talking about. It's not like we're, it's real time. It's kind of like looking back in a different lens and being able to, we get to talk about the what ifs, or we get to talk about how did it influence certain things. So you get like a grander scheme that you can look at, and I think that has helped a lot with everything that we're talking about, and especially not just the history of the culture, but the history of individuals' lives that we're interacting with, the followers, not just the people that we talk about, but the history of the people that we get to hear from.
Yeah,
and I think that is it was really pretty cool, something that we didn't really plan to stumble into.
That's the thing. I kind of go back and forth, and reading the first post that we did kind of makes me rethink my knee-jerk reaction of the fact that I don't really think we knew what we were doing, or we knew what the point was. But reading that first post, I think we knew what we were trying to do. We were trying to connect with people, and we were trying to share in this thing that it was, for us at the time, it was so new to us and it was so exciting. It's like when you learn a new skill, or you learn about something that you didn't know existed, and you're so excited about it. I can remember that, and thinking about it right now, I remember being so excited, or finding a song that I didn't know existed, and I'd send you the lyrics immediately. I'd be like, holy shit, look at this. This relates exactly perfectly to XYZ that we're going through, or XYZ that happened. And that excitement is something that I think the more well-read you get on a subject or a topic, it's, the low-hanging fruit disappears. It's harder to find that. It's harder to find that undiscovered area that really lights your world on fire for the next couple of hours or days or weeks, but there's always something out there. And I think this page has also made me appreciate a lot of different types of music, and it's made me grow in my desire to search out music and search out genres that I wouldn't normally have spent time in. And that's a really, really big gift, because there's so many good things out there, and I wouldn't have discovered a fraction of them had it not been for this page, really.
Yeah, do you think that, if the page didn't exist, how drastic would your, even just simply put, your music taste? Like, do you think that you would be in a box still? Would you still be the man in the box?
I don't know if I'd be in a box, but I would not be as passionate
about music.
Of a music fan that I am. I joke at times, but I can joke about it because there's a lot of truth to it, that I have two personality traits. One of them's music, and one of them is lifting weights. So like, I guess if you took this page away, maybe I'd only have one personality trait, and that would just be lifting weights. But I think a lot of it, oddly enough for me, started with meeting you and becoming friends with you. And we had similar music interests at the beginning, and I felt, especially at the beginning, even now, we have this friendship as it relates to music that challenges the other person at times to go deeper into certain types of music or songs or artists. And we could go into the same artist and we'll come back with different things, and we share it, and our music fandom and our appreciation grows. And that's something that, is related to the page, but specifically is just related to my friendship with you. And I don't know if this page didn't exist, I don't know if we would have it have that as deeply, but I know that I wouldn't be as all consuming of a music fan that I am now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there is not a minute that goes by within the day that you're probably not listening to music.
Yeah.
And you know maybe maybe you'd be more of a podcast guy like now
Yeah,
if you did.
who
You know
knows?
what I mean? Like,
Maybe I definitely wouldn't be listening to the same things. I would never, there's a lot of stuff that some of my favorite artists right now I might not even know of. I mean, I wouldn't.
Right.
I probably would never have learned of, just pulling one out of my hat here, but never would have learned that who Mark Lanigan was, or that he has a solo album, or I wouldn't have learned about L7, or I wouldn't have. There's a lot. It's like, how do you tell? So I mean, the page is giving me a lot in those terms, and I'm really grateful for that. It's weird to think about the alternate reality where this never existed.
Yeah. So going back, time machine to 2016.
Yeah.
I had wrote down a few albums and stuff that came back just for fun to kind of see what was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is also a big year. We lost David Bowie this year, and this is the same year that he released Black Star. So, and I think that his top song was Dollar Days, and it's kind of eerie, because in it says like I'm dying too, and he sings that like a lot. So it was very eerie year, and we lost him. We lost Prince. Glenn Fry died, and
yep, I remember this.
It's funny, a couple months before. The new year, we lost Scott.
Yeah, and I think this early December of 2015, and it's so funny. You're speaking about all these people and all of these moments, and I filter them through, and I see them in my head of me learning about these things sitting in my dorm room my sophomore year,
right,
at Iowa State. It's so funny. I remember, for example, I think you told me about the news that Scott Weiland had passed away, and I remember learning about Prince. I was on the road at some track meet, and I told my coach about it, or he might have told me, and it's so weird when even specifically the songs, but even these artists and different events in news, you kind of relate immediately back to a point in your life. But 2016, that was a pretty good year for music, and just thinking back, there's a lot of artists and a lot of songs that if I know you're probably gonna name here that if I were to hear again, I would immediately be transported back to like a college party my sophomore year, or in the rental car in Florida at a track meet or whatever.
Well, and this is interesting because when you're in college, when you graduate college. You're exposed to a lot of different types of music. So when we were in there, I feel like I was way more connected to the mainstream.
Me too.
The main, like, because this is when Chainsmokers came out with Closer.
Oh my gosh!
And that may have been unescapable, but we were in those college parties. Like,
and those songs were great. I remember even a little bit more, not grunge, because let's face it, grunge, there's not much going on in grunge in 2016 or even 2022. But I mean, even Fetty Wap, he was inescapable at every single college party I went to. And then I don't know who it's by, but that Jordan Belfort song. That one was everywhere. And then wasn't 2016 also the year of the Post Malone?
Yes. This is when he released Stoney. His first album, and it had White Iversons at Go Flex, and it was just like, he blew up after that album. And it's funny because I remember exactly figuring out who he was and hearing it from a referral from another band that I liked, and Dirty Heads, and that album is really, really fantastic. And he's gone on to became a really big, he's a rock star in a lot of ways. So that was cool because that was like right when he was like, taken off. That was the same year that Billie Eilish kind of came onto the scene with her with Ocean Eyes, and everybody's like, "Whoa, who is this?" She was super young. She probably was like 15, right, or 16 or something.
Yeah, I had to have been around that because she's not particularly old right now in 2022. It's so weird for me to think back to this year. 2016, it's almost, I kind of relate to it how when I was a kid in my early teens, like 12, 13 or whatever, in the late 2000s, like 2006, 2007. For some reason at that time, the 90s felt like it was a couple of years ago. I'm not really sure why, because I was 4 when the 90s ended, but I wasn't alive when Kurt Cobain was, so, you know. But it's so weird even thinking back to like 2016 or even 2014, 2015 when we went to the same school together. It feels like it was at most 2 years ago, and it feels like we started this page at most 2 years ago. But it's funny how when you're busy and when you're working on things and when you're, you know, pushing yourself towards different dreams and goals that you have, time has this way of putting a lot of distance between things, and that's what's happened here.
Yeah, you know, the pandemic in 2020 definitely warped time in a lot of ways.
I'm still not recovered from. It's such my internal clock is not calibrated still from all of that. It
definitely feels like we definitely lost a sense of time.
Lost time.
You definitely did.
We lost time. I lost a lot of my. I lost a lot of months that I could have been productive, that I could have been happy, but I wasn't. Or could have been working towards different things.
I think for both of us, it cut off like right when we were getting into, like I was training and you were coaching at the time. So like it cut off everything that it's basically you work all week and then instead of getting a paycheck, you get fired. And they're actually not allowed to pay you for the time that you worked, because that's probably not allowed. But
sorry, you're gonna have to go.
That's what it felt like.
And it's so weird. We're talking about this instance in time, which at this point is almost 2 years ago. And and out of all of the things that were shifting and had eliminated themselves and had gone away, and certain new things that had presented themselves, the page was always there, man. It's
the page
weird.
Was always there.
That's the coolest thing. You know, we can get back to points, and I know I've had multiple people say this to me that I know in my personal life, and they always say something to the effect of, I can really tell what mood you're in based off of what type of shit you're posting on Grunge Bible. And it's weird. It's kind of been in a weird way like a diary or a narration of life for us, because I lean into that at times, and I think it's cool to share things that are affecting me at that time musically and related to things that are happening in my life or in the world, because I think that's what we all do with music. But it is funny to think about, because I remember at the time I was posting a lot of not happy shit, a lot of not happy songs.
Yeah. Do you how often do you go back into the archives, like when I talk about go back, like years, like do you ever go back like 3 years?
No, I haven't in a long time. I used to, but we just have so many posts. I do.
There's no easy way to scroll.
No, there's no easy way to search on Instagram. I'll tell you though, I don't know.
That's what they should get.
Yes,
you should be able to search
by keyword
dates.
Like you can on Twitter.
Yeah, or dates. Yeah,
or dates. That would be great. But between Grunge Bible and my personal page and another page that I run, that's one of my other personal pages, I do have probably a total of maybe about 100 posts from Grunge Bible that I've saved at one point or another, that I think I posted, and maybe right afterwards or a couple of weeks later I was like, wow, that was important. So I do have a few that I look back on every so often. But what about you? Or do you archives that? It's so hard to do it, you know.
It's so hard. Well, and I thought about that when you pulled the post from our first post. Like that has to be saved, or did you?
I did not scroll. I didn't scroll the 15 minutes.
And because that's exactly what it would take to get all the way back. And I did the same. I think it was like a year or two or something ago, and I was like, man, like there's stuff I want to go back to that, like, you know, there's certain posts that I know in my head that I've made. Like
it's the most frustrating thing. You're trying to find something.
The Blues run the game. Like I know that we had a few really good posts.
Jackson C. Frank, you know, where is he?
Bert,
it's so weird. I know the terrain and I know the different neighborhoods of the page a lot better than you would think, because there have been times where
time of year we posted that.
Yeah, and because it'll happen sometimes. Like it happened just a couple of weeks ago. There was something that we posted. It might have been for an anniversary or something, and I wanted to go back and find this one post, and it was like 2 years ago, but I found it. I sought it out and I found it, and I know the areas and the ebbs and flows a lot better than you would think with there being 6,500, 7,000 posts or whatever. And that's always a funny thing to think about because there's a lot of stuff in there, man.
Yeah, dude, you're like our one employee. I was talking to my boss, and he's like, "We can drive into development and go 10 minutes in, turn in left, right, and then he's got to go to the store, and he knows exactly how to get
exactly
back."
where it is. He knows exactly where it is.
That's you. It's like,
that's
and
us with
I
the
know
page.
you're saying, you scroll back and you're like, you have those few landmarks like anniversaries and stuff, or definitely, and you know what? It also like fits in with the camera roll when you're scrolling back through your own personal camera.
I know my
roll.
own camera incredibly well,
and that is such an interesting, skill that you wouldn't expect to have, but. Maybe we reminisce too much. Maybe we live in the past too much.
It's as Tony Soprano said, remember when is the lowest form of conversation. Which I don't believe. I mean, that's the whole fucking page is based off of remember when. So
yeah.
Really talking ourselves up here. But yeah, it is really interesting. One thing that always blows my mind is the activity feed where it shows you where people liked, commented, or followed or whatever. Sometimes there will be posts that pop up there that are literally 4 or 5 years old, and someone will have just recently liked it. And I don't know how they find them. I really don't, unless they're doing a deep dive. I know people have.
Have you ever done a deep dive on a page?
I have. I certainly have.
Be a man.
I'm in the habit of doing that.
Exactly.
There's definitely a few. Even just today.
That's like one way I like to post. It's like, what do I want to see? With the other training page I have and stuff. It's like, what would I want to see if I'm a viewer? Or like what? And then when that happens, where you see somebody like something from so long ago, you just think like, yeah, they probably just found it and they were just kind of doing their scrolling and looking.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how people do it, but I guess, like you said, we do that with other places. So that's always a weird thing for me to think about. The pages that I really like, we are that page for a lot of people, which still seems strange even after 6 years. And 6 years is a long time, and I think now's the point where I have to ask you. It's like a 2-part question, but the second part is the important part of this question. 6 years in, we're mid to late 20s now, and we were 19 and 21 when we started this. What's your relationship with the page like these days? And aside from that, how much longer do you think?
I feel like we've talked about this on a lot of
and the answer changes all the time.
It does. No, it's actually true. It is a good like temperature check of
you
of
check
where we're
in.
at. It's our weekly check-in because we kind of did it a little differently. Recently we've been doing obviously a lot of podcasting and a lot more verbalizing and talking. And that goes, that ebbs and flows with how busy we are over the past, past years. There's been times where I've been really busy, you've been really busy, different, physical, like emotional minds. There's like, there's a whole lot goes into it. But now we are on a routine where we talk and have these interactions. And basically the podcast is, I think, giving us both a lot of life, if I can speak for you. I feel like we're both a lot more excited for just everything. Like it's just a lot. I think it's because we're creating a lot more.
And it's like a new project. We have new goals at this point.
Yeah, and like we talked in the beginning, it was discovery. And then, it gets harder to discover. So then you want to create. And I think that's what it is. Like in the beginning, there was so much we could do and post, and we had so little understanding. Now we are, we're really fatigued in a lot of way or calloused. So I think that we're excited because we have something else. So I'm doing really well. I really enjoy that, Drew is alongside us. That's been a good
That's great.
spark.
It's really special.
Kafaro, we've been interacting with him a lot more because of this, and that's like a great interact. Like we're gonna have interviews with people. Like there's a lot of exciting stuff that I think is.
I agree.
That as humans, as adventurous humans, I think both of us are. Yeah, I think we're both. Things. And what was the second half for the question?
How much longer?
Oh, how much longer? Oh, that's a difficult. So that is difficult. It's I mean like especially like the pod. We haven't missed an episode of the podcast. We're gonna hit 50. We're gonna hit 52 come March 19th.
Yes.
And but like I mean I guess
because I think about it like
every
this,
day,
Ethan.
but a week episode for like what 5 years that would be like 600 episodes.
Well, like I think about it like this. We've done it for 6 years. So have we run Grunge Bible for the statistical majority of its life yet or not? Meaning, are we going to do another 6 years, or is it going to come to an end beforehand? I mean, if we get to 10 years, like if we get to 2026, that's a long time. I mean, you'll be 32. Isn't that fucked up to think about?
Okay, I want to change subjects right on that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh man, then you'd be 30.
Yeah,
Right?
I'd be 30 years old. Should we retire on my 30th birthday?
It's so hard to tell, dude.
Yeah, it's impossible to tell. Something is going to force our hand one way or another, I think, whether a life event or something like that, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. Or man, honestly, if one of us were to quit, I don't know if, like, for example, if you were to quit, I don't know if I'd keep running it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be.
If I'd want to.
Yeah, it would be such a weird.
It'd be strange.
It would be so weird. Yeah. I mean, imagine if we sold it and we could watch from the outside somebody else. Like, what would that be like? Yeah, what would that be like?
There's no way that would be a popular thing.
No, like it wouldn't work, right?
Be the ultimate sellout. No, the page wouldn't work because, for better or for worse, I think we are inextricably linked to the page. It's interesting, but I have to say, well, let me ask you this: Have you ever come close to quitting Grunge Bible?
I guess it's one of those things where, like, what does that mean?
Right.
Does that mean like?
I think it was never going to be like I quit. It was just I've become so wholly disinterested in this that I'm just not going to do anything with it, and I don't really care what happens to it.
Well, like it going dormant is one thing. Like I feel like like rage delete the page would be like I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess like quitting. I've never thought of it like here is a line in the sand. Like after this day, it's over.
It doesn't exist.
I've never really thought about it like that. Like I've thought about like how nice it was to not have responsibilities of.
Totally.
I don't know. What about you?
I've definitely thought about quitting. I think twice. I want to say.
What does that mean? Like.
Just going to you and just saying, "Hey, man,
I'm done.
I don't want to do this shit anymore. Like we should sell it or just quit and just not do it anymore." I think it hasn't been for a while. There was one time where I think it was my first year out of college, or maybe my second year out of college, and I was just really overwhelmed, and I was like, "Fuck this! I don't want to do this anymore." And then I'm sure there was another point similarly to that, but going back to I guess what I asked you.
I think I remember one of them.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how much longer I can keep. I definitely can't do this again.
I think your words were, "We need to shit or get off the pot."
Yeah, man. And I guess we decided to shit because we're still on the pot. But yeah, I totally agree with what you said like 10 minutes ago or whatever about the podcast, because I think we needed a new project or a new goal, because for a while the goal was growing the page, and that feedback came from the follower numbers that were increasing, but we probably for the last what would you say 2.5 years we haven't cared about that. And I was going to
ask you that too. What number? Now I know this has also changed a lot, because at one point 10,000 was the goal, and then all of a sudden 50,000. So at what point what was the most satisfying number? And then at what point were you just like, you know what? I really couldn't care less if we got to 250 or not. Like,
I
500.
I gotta say, I think 100,000 was the most satisfying, because we were cranking. The page had blown up at that point. We had probably put on 40,000 followers in a couple of months, and
it was like I think it was less. Yeah, it was like less. Yeah. I think we were going at a click of like 5K a week.
Yeah, and we wanted to get big, and I remember 100,000 was really exciting.
Yes,
and after that, but as you get bigger, the lines in the sand grow fewer. So it was like 100, 150 was fine. 200 was fine, and then 250 was cool. But I mean, now what is it? Would it be 500,000? But honestly, I don't know what's going to be different between. Yeah, like what's going to be different about 500,000 that's going to be different than 300 or 350. I just don't see it exciting me.
I know.
I don't really give a shit about the numbers. I care about the podcast numbers now. See, I've just replaced it with another goal, and the show is fun. I think. Well, it's why we did this in the first place. It's fun to build something and put your passions into something, and that's what we're doing now with the show. And I think
about
that
the pursuit.
Let's put new life into the show, into this whole project. Where if we didn't have that, I don't know if I don't know if we never did this, if we never did the podcast, if we'd be as active or enjoy it as much anymore. I don't think I would enjoy it as much.
Yeah, I mean, just like that, we've done a podcast for over almost a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so like just that,
man.
Just like the way time is moving on, we got about a month, and which we're gonna have something really cool for our year anniversary for the podcast. That's when we're gonna make changes. We actually, we're talking about our Grunge Bible birthday right now, but we didn't do anything special, probably because it's 6 years, and like you said, we've kind of become
school night.
It's a school night. We've become.
We're crotchety and we're old.
Yeah, old and dumb, but the podcast is a year old. It's still a baby, and it's our baby, and we're gonna do some special for its first birthday, because you have to for kids. And I think that, can we say it? Can we talk about it?
Yeah, I think we can announce it. I mean, it's deep enough into the episode that only the purists are still here.
That's true. So we're going to do a few things, and we're definitely, first and foremost, changing our release day to Monday, because that's going to be a lot easier on our producer, Drew. It's going to be a lot easier on us getting interviews, because like right now it's like, well...
Friday's tough because you record during the middle of the week. You got to meet a deadline. It's a weekday, and people aren't around as much to listen on the weekends. And I think starting the week with the show is going to be great for the listeners, and it's also going to be really good for us, just because we could get together on a weekend and turn it around in time for Monday. That's definitely something that we're going to be doing, barring any sort of catastrophic feedback, because if you all hate that idea...
I don't think that any feedback's going to change our mind.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You think that someone saying, do you think that if someone said, please don't change
Listen
it,
to the podcast when it comes out. Be a man.
Yeah, we'd be like, yeah, I can hear you right now. Just like, just download it on Friday.
Yeah, just wait
a week.
just wait a whole week and pretend that it comes out on Friday. But yeah, it's definitely what we're gonna do. And we actually today, the day that we're recording this, February 1st, we've started another thing, and that is Patreon exclusive podcast events. And we haven't worked out a schedule for this, but I'm envisioning it's probably going to be one every month or one every other week, depending on our schedules.
Yeah. And I was actually talking to Drew about this today, and this is a little live brainstorming, but it doesn't necessarily has to be an extra podcast. It could be we could do a Clubhouse once a month, or we could do another form of media. So I think we're going to play around with it exactly, but we are officially committed to giving more to our Patreons, or to our patrons, and that's you're gonna see that for the next year, 100%, and that all really kicks off. Well, one, we did post something tonight.
So as of right now, there is a podcast that exists somewhere out there that only the patrons have access to. So if you want access to that, you know what to do.
If you want access, you got to buy your shitty cup of coffee. You got to pay rent.
If you want to touch the merch, you have to fund the enterprise.
Yes, and it has our producer Drew on it, and it's really awesome. It's a lengthy one. It's long form, and we have a few brewskis, and we just laugh, and man, we really kind of reminisce. It's great. You're gonna actually, it's totally awesome for the first exclusive. I'm excited to hear what the current members think of. Yeah,
absolutely. And if that interests you, which if you're at this point in the show, I'm guessing it probably will. It only takes $2 at minimum to get access to that. So all tiers will have access to all of the exclusives that we're going to be doing. So we want to structure it so whatever you're able to do and whatever you're comfortable with doing, we want you to have access.
Yeah. And building off of that, so there are 3 levels, 2, 5, and 10. And on the 1 year anniversary, we're going to give away some of Chris Cafaro's prints. And each level is going to have their own giveaway. So the $2 is going to have a certain size. It's undetermined. I think it's going to be the smaller one, like 13
still
by
in the
11.
works, but so for the 2, the 5, and the 10, there's going to be different leagues of giveaway potential there. So if you want access to that, we're going to be drumming that up over the next few weeks in advance of that March 19th, March 20th, March 21st date. But that's going to be on the lookout, and it's only going to be available to the patrons. So once again, it's a $2 lottery ticket basically, and you get extra podcasts, and you get the chance to win some cool stuff. And I have a feeling this is not going to be the last time we do something like this to thank everybody who's helped us.
No, I think that right there, we could do the month exclusive giveaway. There could be this could be totally reoccurring, and we're really excited about it. It's going to be awesome. Cafaro has been the man in helping us out and getting us going. So yeah, go over there, check it out.
As you get older, you got to change, and that's what we're doing here.
Once I learned the ropes, Chris,
they changed all the rules.
Changed all the rules.
It's all over.
Do you still have that picture of that old man?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course I do. It's from Humans of New York. It was from probably 7 or 8 years ago. It probably predates Grunge Bible, but maybe I'll have to post it.
Let's post. We'll post it, and we can actually talk about. We can talk about like
the changes.
Changing to Monday and changing.
Absolutely. Once
changing
you
to
learn
Monday,
the ropes, they change all the rules. In this case, we are they. We're changing all the rules.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
My goodness. So I think that's pretty good. We did a lot of housekeeping. We did a lot of announcing. We did a lot of reminiscing, and you all have the inside scoop moving forward. So out of everything that you can say, you cannot say that you haven't been told. And with that, that's my second Sopranos reference of the night. And that's a little bit more of a deeper cut. But if you get that, I very much appreciate you.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was everything we wanted to talk about. We did it again.
Like Ethan, I said, we said it was going to be a short episode. We're at 51 minutes.
We did it again. Yeah, it always gets away from us. It was supposed to be like an abbreviated episode of the exclusive. So there's still a lot more over there to go listen to. But
this is so for those, well, I don't think any of you would know, but every single week we sit down, Ethan and I, we sit down to record, and before we press record, based off of our schedules or whatever, we're like, all right, this is going to be a short one. We're just going to bang it out 30, 40 minutes, and then we'll be back with a long one later on. And then sure enough, here it happens. It's almost 11 p.m. and we're closing on an hour, and I gotta work in 6 hours.
Every time.
It's all right. Don't sleep. Just stay up the whole night.
Be a man.
Be a man.
Oh, man. Chris, it was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Oh, crap. Song of the week, dude. We gotta give him. I forgot.
I was hoping you wouldn't forget.
I would not forget, because I've been looking forward to... Dude, the goose is loose. I'm going to get right into it.
The goose is loose again.
I don't think I put them on my list. I talked about them, but I don't think...
Yeah, I think we spoke about them, but all right, let's bring them on the club. Let's anoint them.
Maybe I did put them on, but guys, we've been talking about becoming jam band aficionados since the summer, talking about the Fish and Deadhead, where we're gonna be, where we're gonna lie, and build our tent. And about a month ago, I was informed that there's a new band that might be taking the reins. I think we've talked about them on the page a little bit, and at least on the pod. But the Goose, they're a band from Connecticut, actually, and there's like 4 or 5 guys. And they had an album in 2016, but pretty much all their albums and live performance albums are coming 2020, 2021. So they are on the scene live right now. And I have listened to them quite a bit the last 2 days. And they're not your normal jam band. And when I say normal, like they're more progressive and a little more funky than
which we
Fish.
Like.
Yes,
we appreciate that.
I think which is helping me really get into them more. It's like
the missing link.
Yeah, they're a lot more progressive than Fish and the Dead, which are the other 2 bands that I've listened to. I know there's a ton of jam bands that even more culty than those 2, but
oh yes.
But the Goose has really impressed me, and it's held my attention a lot longer than the other bands have. And this is interesting. I was thinking about it in 2 ways. One, I'm ready. I was looking at tickets. I'm ready to go to my first concert where I was even looking at some merch, dude. I was like, dude, I might get a shirt.
Yeah, man, do it.
But I was also wondering what this endeavor would do to my appreciation for the Dead, and for is this gonna
could be a road in?
This could be a road in, and it might be a back door that I never saw coming. And shoot, I'm gonna have music for an eternity to listen to. So, without further ado, really, it's hard to pick just one song. I've actually been listening to their November 21st show, 2021 in Denver, Colorado. That's
of course
awesome. A really great performance. But I will go. They just released a new song about a week ago called Born, and it's so good. It's It's like I said, it's soft and progressive and builds, and it has this his voice is really soothing. It's not too abrasive or too kind of like what's a good word to describe the other jam band? It's not too I don't know, folky country, kind of boppy. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Kind of like picking. It's a little bit more than picking. So
yep.
And it's been really great. So Born by Goose, and keep an eye out for them. And I just talked about them for about 5 minutes. So guys can tell I'm into them right now.
It's only 20% of the song length too.
Yeah, dude. Literally in the show, he's like, yeah, we got one more. It's a long one, so hang in there.
Which for them is like 45 minutes.
Chris, what are you listening to right now?
All right. There's been an album that I've been listening to a lot lately. It is not at all related to the jam band scene. So for those who are not inclined, I will spare you another exposure. But I've been listening to Modern Baseball's debut album, Sports, which came out, I believe, in 2012. A whole hell of a lot lately.
Incredible album title.
Yeah. Big fan. Sports. That's it. I love there's so many like emo Midwest math rock bands. There's Sports by Modern Baseball, there's American Football. There's another band that has has an album called Midwest Sports. So I don't know what the what the infatuation was there, but I'm definitely a fan. But out of that whole album, been listening to the song The Weekend a lot. And it's weird. It's one of those songs that makes you nostalgic for a point in your life, even though you never listened to the music that makes you nostalgic at that point in your life. It's kind of like a retroactive thing where it makes me think of high school or early college. And it's just a great song. I love the both of their voices in the band. I don't know the names, but this one's got a really good lyric that I appreciate, and it's you've got a smile that could light this town, and we might need it because it gets dark around here. That's pretty good, and I've been listening to that album. I listened to it front to back a couple of times over the last couple of days, and probably do it again tomorrow. Fuck it.
Why not, dude? That's why we have it.
Why not, man? Absolutely. So
do you ever?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you ever like when you do reminisce and look back to what you listened to in high school? Do you wish that you listened to more, say, Modern Baseball, brand new?
I probably. I mean, they existed at the time. I mean, this album came out in 2012. The Wonder Years were clicking still for a long time at that point. I don't know. Maybe, probably, but at the end of the day, they still make me think of those times, even though I didn't listen to them. Which it's like 1979 by the Pumpkins. I mean, I wasn't alive when that came out. I sure as shit didn't listen to it in high school, so it still works. Just goes to show you how powerful the songs are. So yeah, man, we've got opposite sides of the coin for this song of the week.
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
And the list is very diverse. So
yes,
people are used to it.
I love that playlist. I listen to it all the time.
I do. I throw it on as well. It's great. I wonder how many people use it.
I see. I have a couple of friends who I follow on Spotify. I'll see them share it, or see them not share it. I'll see them being active, having it on, which is cool. I like that. It's the greatest compliment you can give is when someone listens to a playlist of yours. Yeah.
That wraps her all up. Episode 47.
Yeah, it's in the books, and I'd be remiss, Ethan, if I didn't mention we're being joined by two special guests today.
For the YouTube guys, actually.
Yeah, it's
and
for the YouTube.
Chris, another Sopranos.
Yep.
Another Sopranos reference. Chris, every time that he is extremely tired or worn out or had a long day, he sends me a picture of Tony with the teddy bear. And we've talked about it a lot of time. It's like, I just need it. And we talked about how teddy bears are awesome. And so I said, you know what? Fuck it. So I bought us some teddy bears. We got matching ones.
We have matching teddy bears right here.
So the name of yours is?
Mine is Harling, after Harling Mays.
And then mine is Mays. So we have Harling and we have Mays joining us on the podcast.
Put them together.
Definitely gonna sleep with this guy tonight because I need good sleep. And
we need the big
pretty
rest.
Awesome. So me and Chris have matching teddy bears, and that's how Grunge Bible rolls. And if you don't like it, you can fuck off.
Yeah, just go you can fuck right off. So if you got anything going wrong in your life, don't deal with it. Just
get a teddy bear.
Fuck it.
Send us a picture of your you and your teddy bear if you have one.
Yeah, we'll post it immediately.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, that just about does it here.
All right, guys, we love you. Chris, Ethan, Harling, and Mays signing off.
Yep, another one in the books. We'll talk to you all next week. Take it easy. Enjoy.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.